top-level team in the UK. They play outstanding. Let's see if they'll deliver that tonight. So we go into the first round of the first game, or the third game, sorry, of the third week of the Elite Series. Endpoint win the 9th round. They decide to start on that CT side. Let's take a look at the buy. Ooh, smoke. CZ bought for Nilzinho. 4 sets of Kevlar to go around that as well. And on that CT side, Ian Harding, Imi there. Smoke grenade, diffuse kit. 4 sets of Kevlar. Let's see if this is going to be the fast aggression towards the Nilzinho smoke, of course, for CT. We're down to Jasper.
Jasper on the early contact here will spot them out, trying to keep them at bay, just give his teammates enough time to actually rotate over to aid him. But he's getting overwhelmed because they push their way through, will eventually be punished by Weber there. Ian arrives on the scene, Imi just hammering out a couple of shots here and there, makes his presence known, hoping to ward off the opposition, but they've been able to secure the site and they now get the bomb planted as well.
They have the kit, but no smoke. Mighty Max on the flank gets taken down by Stanley. We're into a 5 versus 3.
That's a critical frag as well. Taking down Max there is massive to slow the pace of this potential retake, but Pickles does a little bit of damage. Cryptics as well, so key in these clutch situations, normally can be very effective if he can strike at the right time, but Jenko will rip his way through him with the Glock.
Cryptics there, not happy with that one. Jesp unable to find any frags as the T's flood in through B main. It's going to be the pistol going in favor of Method. That T pistol was so crucial for them. Their T side on Cash is definitely the best in the UK. I mean, we saw them play, the last time we saw them play Cash on LAN was EPS Finals versus Fish 123. And what was the score there? 16-4, 16-3. So yeah, I think they had a 12-3 T-half after winning the pistol in the first buy round. It's very easy to be stuck in a rut, 0-5 down, 0-6 down versus Method on your CT side Cash. Looking at the buy as well, you can be seeing the force spike coming up from the CTs. Max just the CZ. Flashbang, no Kevlar. Imi there, the scout, which means he will not have an AWP into that first buy round, being the new AWPer on this team Endpoint side.
Obviously a role that even though he didn't want to be put in, he's actually been performing to a good standpoint. We've seen him getting some good impact frags on the table, so at least he is actually doing some damage in the situation.
Has tagged up Weber as well. It's going to be 4 players in team main, 1 towards Squeaky, 2 MAC-10s, 3 SMGs now to flood this site. Let's see if these seed sets and co on the CT side can hold this.
Gonna go for the explosive approach, just burst your way out, try and overwhelm the opposition, use all of that aggression in your favor, just speed your way through as the smokes do go down, they zone out the CTs and now start going for the 1-for-1 fights. And it does go in their favor so far. They have the man advantage to play with. Jenko's gonna be the one doing the majority of the damage right now as he swings wide with that Max 10 in hand trying to clear the side, but they don't realize the location of Mighty Max. Pickles does a bit of damage as well. The pistols actually start to come into play. If Max would have got the second frag on towards Weber there, it could have been huge.
Could indeed. 2 versus 2 now. Weber is low as well. Was tagged by the scout. 1 shot from that scout will take him down. Gets stinked up though. Still has to cross. It's a bad smoke there from Nilzinho. Unfortunately, Pickles will take him down. Weber now in the 2 versus 1.
You can see Weber, his hand is forced as well. We can't just go for the commit on the bomb plant here. Trying to use that last bit utility he had. Lobs out the flashbang, goes for the peak, but doesn't get anything from it. Just a measly tidbit of information. Imi and Pickles have to play together now for this retake.
Bomb is planted, so money in the bank right now for Method. Problem is that they need this round. Imi is low HP. Has no Kevlar as well, so could take him down, but that scout's like an AWP versus Weber, sorry. As he has such low HP, Imi towards Highway will thread the needle, find that second tag onto Weber and take him down. You can see there the frustration in his eyes. He knew that he could have had that. Good rotation from Imi as well. He was towards Car, got dinked up, got spotted, rejoined with the rest of his team as well to play that 2 versus 1 very well together.
Yep, good work across the board there. Pickles obviously as well. The great site defense coming out with that deagle. 2 critical kills into the round that allowed them to claw it back into the position they get in. So they do go 1-1 for now, obviously stopping Method from claiming the 3 rounds off the back of their pistol win.
And that's big as well, right? On your CT side, it's all about can you get to 6 or 7 rounds. You do anticipate these CTs to be losing the half, especially in the UK scene of these UK games. It's all about how strong are your T sides, how weak are your CT sides. So, crucial force by 1 there for Team Endpoint on the CT side. Cash. Going to be Imi back on the scout, obviously. P250 now brought up as well. On the flip side, though, Method on their T side will be buying up 2 AKs, SMG, and 2 Tech-9s. Mighty Max towards Highway now. That's exactly where Stanley is, but does he know Jenko is still on boost?
It's going to be interesting to see how he actually plays this one. The bomb's been lobbed over, but Max doesn't spot that as well, as they want to try and stop the bomb from being left in no man's land as they take this mid-control sparingly.
Stanley on the SMG as well. He could be left here to try and lurk if they go back towards B. Max gets the flashbang, peeks out, gets spotted by Jenko, though. Will eventually fall back. So we've got 3 players here towards mid. Stanley close Highway. If a flashbang comes in, that could be the end for Mighty Max.
Max spots out his back, but actually overextends a little bit, and Weber spots out his head and knocks it clean off, Snods.
Does indeed. 5 versus 4 now. 1 minute on the clock, and the bomb is still towards Ven. 2 players Ven, 1 player Highway. It's looking like a B split here as we have Nilzinho with just a CZ towards B main. Could go for the double fake as well. But it's looking like Method are waiting for some CT aggression. They want to go to the site where they get the next kill. If they catch Pickles here towards this A site, which they don't because he finds the kill onto Jenko and puts us into a 4 versus 4. But they are slowly pinching this A site from Highway and Squeaky.
Pickles needs to do more as well. He knows the location of Stanley, but he has to get that frag to actually put them in more of a manageable spot. Right now, this does favor the T's in the position they're in. Pulse coming out as well, trying to do some damage, but actually loses his head instantly. Pickles, a big nuisance on the bomb site. Imi comes over to help him as well. And Pickles just tearing his way through them as they push in. Great work with the FAMAS. Will punish everyone. It falls towards Weber, but Cryptix peeks out and says hello. Finds the kill with a UMP, and they also get the extra cash off the back of that.
Forced by Lost by Method there. 3 players staying alive for that CT economy as well on the Endpoint side. Means their money will slowly start to build. Let's take a look at the buy now. Obviously, we saw Pickles last week on B.
Yep.
Had a lot of struggles. Endpoint said they changed some stuff up on their CT side. Cash is looking like they've moved Charlie Pickles from B towards their A site anchor. Better angles maybe for him. He's known for having good aim and not, you know, typically the best positional play. Obviously, a site like A, peek towards A main, peek towards Highway. He has the aim. And obviously we saw some very nice headshots coming in from him as they tried to take control of that site. Going to be eco now for Method. Endpoint need 4 or 5 alive to build up their bank slowly. Pickles playing it smart as well. Plays the retake, doesn't take any risks. And instead they will have the range advantage in this retake.
Yep, smart stuff right now as they just hold back and then going to play together as a unit as they walk their way through, hoping to just go blow for blow and come out on top here in this retake. Pickles gets dinked down though and eventually will be taken out by Stanley. Imi tries to retaliate with a UMP in hand, gets off a bit of a spray, and eventually we'll find the frag back on towards Stanley as there's only 3 teams remaining now as well. This terrifying trio hunkered down, ready to try and ward off the defense that's coming through, but the retake goes swimmingly so far till Nilzinho will strike through the smoke, eliminate Imi, but even then this is unlikely he'll do anything else. The defuse comes out, only 2 casualties for the side of Endpoint, a pretty clean round as we now work our way back through to the next buy for Method.
We do indeed. So once again, 3 players staying alive for the Endpoint side. You can see 4,000 across the board. And actually, well, Imi did have 6,000, but does buy up into the AWP. 450 left in the bank for him. Method's buy. It's going to be no AWP on their side. Pulse, Jenko, Nilzinho, they can all wield the AWP. They seem to juggle it around depending on playstyle and what they need. Nilzinho is more of that supportive AWPer. Pulse is your all-around AWPer, can do everything, and Jenko is the fast, aggressive AWPer. Talking about aggression, Imi matches it, takes down Jenko.
Massive opening frag there for Imi. He's also toying with Jenko, but unfortunately, he will get taken down. Pulse even that was towards the wall, so he strikes his way through, nearly gets the follow-up kill. If he would have taken down Pickles there, Snods, it would have been a massive catalyst into the round for Method. They still find their way on towards the site, but dazed and confused, Stanley loses out in a 1v1 with Mighty Max.
He does indeed. 2 versus 4 now. Low HP onto Pickles as he is towards Forklift. Can play the headshot angle if he crouches as well. Good money from Nilzinho. Will flush out Mighty Max from quad. Jumps back towards side, but he's safe here. Weber though has the gap in the door, trying to spray him down, but just tags him up. Pickles finds the frag onto Nilzinho as well. Weber once again in the clutch and does lose that one. 1 versus 4. Another buy round 1 for Endpoint.
When they were through. Thing is as well, they need to try and minimize the amount of casualties they lose per round. Right now, they're doing a fairly effective job of it. We only saw, what was it, 2 players went down into that?
2 again,
yeah.
and then 1 in the previous round.
Yeah, which is pretty good overall. They're keeping that economy sustainable. Obviously, Imi as well, they need to try and keep that AWP out on him. He is going to be going for those more aggressive picks. It was a good opener into this round.
Pickles right now, 11-3. Yeah. 11 kills after 5 rounds. Let's see though. Pistols, eco for the T side. And Jenko's already taken out the sky by Imi as he drops from heaven. Puts us into a 5 versus 4, 1 minute 30 on the clock. The T is just waiting for some aggression towards mid, but if you're Endpoint right now, you've been winning the slow pace with the game, playing it slow. They're winning the retakes versus the Pistols. No need to give up casualties.
Yep. Smart stuff, obviously get that opening frag. Max towards mid, still playing it back. He will get some information off the early spam that's coming out from Weber there, but has no reason to really commit into this, as you said. Hold the crossfire. Unfortunately, Jesp actually will get punished by Pulse's Deagle.
He will indeed. That puts us into a 4 versus 4. 1 minute 10 on the clock. T's could have mid as well. CT defense is split right now 2-2. 2 towards B and 2 towards A. They've made a smart decision here. You lose a portion of the map, you need to get map control back on your CT side. You've got Max pushing towards A main, should spot all the information he needs.
Cryptix in position as well, just waiting for them to try and burst their way round through. Ven has the Molotov, this will force their hand. Stanley has to commit into this, but Cryptix dispatches of him so swiftly as well. Finds the headshot, hungry for more as he hunkers down, ready for the push to come in. But Weber will eliminate him with a Deagle. Imi on the site with the AWP, could be a little bit awkward for the man, but hopefully he can pull something out of his hat. Struggling to connect the actual shots, but will take down Nilzinho in a 1 versus 1. But Weber still consistently just ripping his way through with this Deagle, Snods. Pickles will try and take the fight, holding towards CT cross, spots out his head, but couldn't quite connect the shot. Starts to get overwhelmed from both angles. They're pushing individually though. If he finds this fragment towards Max, this could become a little bit awkward. Luckily enough, they do play together, peek at the right time, and they take him down.
3 players falling on that CT side versus the pistols and eco of Method. Once again, though, that's another round on the CT side from Endpoint. Impressive so far.
Yep.
We saw them only get 3 rounds on their CT side versus Infuse last week. Pickles revitalized on the A side, 13-3 now after just 6 rounds, so keeping up that 2 frag a round.
And this is the thing as well, it seems like, as you sort of spoke about there, they found the role that Pickles can excel in. He kind of always was more of that sort of Peggy to the Endpoint team back
just
when
aim,
had Peggy
yeah.
in there. You want to rely on him more for his individual sort of sentry capability. Pickles, you hunker him down the site, allow him to rip his way through with that unreal individual prowess, and not worry about him having to command a site so much or call the pack and have to make those split-second decisions.
Exactly that. So, 1 minute 30 on the clock. It's going to be the slow default here from Method on the T side. No AWP into play once again, but it will be the AWP in the hands of Ian Harding. Imi once again wielding that gun. Whenever we cast Method on Cash, it seems like on the T side, they always have Jenko and Stanley boosted up on their T side, and they go for picks. Imi now on top of white box, might be able to catch them off guard with this off angle.
Here's the thing as well, obviously, the last time we saw them actually play over on Cash against Infuse, they were losing mid-control consistently. It was always Infuse taking control early on. This time around, Imi actually strikes swiftly, takes down Stanley. That's a massive opener, slows him down. He's also quite a big frag in-house into the side of Method.
He is indeed. So 5 versus 4 there. Imi finds the first frag for the CT side. As we are into round number 7. Jesp playing back checkers. Weber unfortunately doesn't quite have the Molotov, but has the aim instead. Lands the headshot onto Jesp. 4 versus 4, and they're swarming this B site.
Just going to try and overwhelm Cryptix here. He's hunkered down, luckily enough, and he will try and peek at the right time, but plays it poorly, unfortunately. Will lose his head as Jenko strikes Imi. Burnt to a crisp nearly as well, forced to fall back. He didn't want to get sent off to the Burns Ward just yet.
Ooh, it's a shot through the smoke as well onto Pulse. That's quite lucky. That puts us into a 3 versus 3. The Molotov comes in towards default as well. This could be winnable now for Endpoint after that.
Definitely still manageable as the nades come in, but they are burning through their utility. They only have the Flash and Molly left on Mighty Max. They're trying to get the information. You can see hoping to just get one extra little bit of an advantage into the round. Max coming in from the rear could be the difference maker if he catches Jenko off guard here. But timing is going to be so key. Flashbang goes out to try and strike together. Jenko unfortunately sidelines him. Pickles fires back though as Pickles gets 2. He will then fall in. He comes in with a final shot though. They lock it down. A defuse as well. Endpoint right now rolling through on their CT side.
So 3K there for the IGL captain himself, Imi. Shot through the smoke onto Pulse. Suddenly opens up the chance for that retake to happen. B-site Cash, notorious for being one of the hardest sites to retake, along with, you know, your A-site Cobbles, your B-site Mirages. The reason being is there's so many close-range angles, there's so many crossfires that the T-site can have. So when they have that man advantage, it is a huge advantage in itself. 6-1 now. Method 5 round deficit for them as they're going to be forced onto another buy. 4 AKs, 1 AWP onto Nilsini, but lack of utility for him. And this time it's not Pulse, it's on Jenko on the AWP. It's going to be Nilsini. We should set up some more of a passive style, maybe holding towards checkers while the riflers push up. Instead though, it's Weber on Lurk, going to be boosted up. This might mean a B execute towards that B site, and then Weber late peeks to try and catch any rotations through Vent. Just setting up their nades. Jenko leading the charge here with the AK instead of the AWP. Imi rotates back around towards CT to hold B main. If any of these T players walk into Imi's AWP in his current form the past few weeks, they should be taking out the server. Jess peeks towards mid, spots nothing, so they know they're stacked towards a site. They're stacked towards A or B. Without the information though, they still have to play 2 to a site.
Imi could be blocked off very easily here playing towards CT. They do have the utility to zone him out quite efficiently. Just depends how the T's actually play this nods. If they peek dry, surely he'll get the opener. There's the smoke coming through from Stanley. If he peeks late though before it blooms, could be kind of awkward. Imi as well. Doing the old classic now and then. Keeps getting those smoke shots off.
Doesn't go through the smoke just yet. Eventually will though towards headshot. Jess now towards Vent. He needs a flash towards B main and he gets it, but blinds himself as well. T is just stampeding away from the B bomb site. They're rotating back to A. It's down to Max and Pickles. He's had a good performance so far, but he's really going to have to step up now. 35 seconds left. 4 players towards T main and 1 player towards mid.
Probably the 2 boys in blue you'd want towards that site though if there is going to be a bombardment towards it. Max and Pickles definitely got a lot of firepower behind them. They are going to slowly tiptoe out. Max is aware of this though, finds Jenko, then the flick as well. Back on towards Pulse, hungry for more. Spots out Nilzinho and strikes upon him. That's a hat trick for Max so far. Can he make it the quad kill? Unfortunately not, as Stanley will return fire. Weber as well comes into effect, but there's Imi. Shut down Weber. There's no time at all. We can grab the bomb, but he just has to hightail it out of there. Jesp's in the rear, and he will strike.
7-1 now. Another buy round 1 for Endpoint. No bomb planted as well. There should be the quasi buy now from Method on their T side. Tech9, armor, light utility. Could go for a door burst. Could go for a burst through the B main smoke. You know, Imi's been AWPing B a lot. You could expose that. They leave, Cryptix alone towards B side often. So, Pause comes in. I believe it is tactical on the method side. What are they thinking about doing? So, one of the setups we've seen so far is when Imi is AWPing towards CT or B main, you have Jesp there close towards vent. One of the problems with AWPing towards B is you're so susceptible to an execute. If you are an AWPer, you generally want to say, okay, the T's know I'm AWPing B. They might exploit that. I need someone vent. I know Pulse calls that. I know I used to call it.
Yeah.
Question is, Ian Harding, I'm sure he will, but we've seen Jesp there already, actually, so he is doing a good job on that one. Having that player support towards vent is huge. You can see what happens if a good time flashbang comes in towards B main, just drops out, sprays down a player, sprays down two player. Even if it goes 1-for-1, just denying the push is all that they need.
I think mid-control so far as well has been fairly lax. Even though they are attempting to take control, if we don't have the active defense from Imi, Max is still playing it smart. He's at least getting the info and then rotating off. Yeah, there's two styles of playing mid, right? You can either play your 1-3-1 or you can play your 2-1-2. So you have your you have Mighty Max and Pickles towards A. You have Imi as rotate, usually around middle. And then you have Jesp. Sorry, Jesp is the mid player, and you have Imi and Pickles towards B. If you do play the 2-1-2 setup, which they are now, Imi is actually anchoring the mid position right now towards connected with the AWP. You play to give up mid, right? You rotate that AWP towards quad, you can hold highway. You rotate it back towards CT, you hold B main, you have a rifle, play back checkers and hold vents. Or you just hold towards connector, you play back in CT spawn. But still, the way they play it, they're playing to give up mid and they're forcing the T's into their crossfires, into their sights, into their stacks. And it's been paying dividends so far as they are 7-1 up. 6 rounds now separating these two teams as we head into round number 9. It's going to be the CZ on Neilzinho, 4 AKs around him. And once again, the AWP on him. Still just trying to go for those pop shots, at least make his presence known, but the true attack is coming towards the A-bomb site. They peek out dry as well. No information has been given away for free. Max will strike first, but Jenko retaliates. Max could be caught off guard here as well. He's trying to get the Molotov down, but somehow he's just able to stay alive and tear his way through. Max, the one-man army there towards that site, but eventually he will fall. It's on Jenko and Weber now.
So, Weber towards vents. What can you really do here? 3-man CT rotation from Carr. Or off the cross, maybe the smoked highway, so the fact that he's fallen there, Jenko has died. But look, they smoked the cross. He has no effect into this round.
He will go for the smoke, though. Actually finds the first kill and the second as well towards Cryptic somehow. Imi's going to tap the bomb. Looks like he might actually go for the full commit. Weber's charging towards him, but Imi gets away with it. Does he get the frag as well there?
I think he has. I can see his knife in his... Oh, is he teabagging him?
Imi's gone for it.
Dear.
The birthday boy. Absolutely loving it.
What is it? I think it's 7-0 on LAN for Neilzinho, is it? Obviously, they won 4-0 Insomnia finals.
Yeah.
They won 3-0 in the UK Masters finals on LAN. So, a 7-0 streak Neilzinho has over Imi. This might be the game that breaks that map streak. 8-1.
It's like when The Undertaker loses a match at WrestleMania.
I don't watch wrestling, mate. Yeah. It's another reference that just goes over my head. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
It must be so bad casting me. I apologise.
Well, that's just terrible.
Cheers, mate. Love you too. 8-1. 1 minute 30 on the clock. 5 AKs on that T side. No AWP onto Neilzinho, Jenko, or Pulse. So they're going to be playing the 5 rifle setup. When you play that 5 rifle setup, you usually play for the trade game. You go for contact plays. You stack up together. You have close spacing between each other, so you can go for the trade frags. But Neilzinho is alone towards B main. Imi might be able to pick him off one by one.
Hence the individual battle coming into this. It's important as well, because if they keep playing like this, they have to just keep themselves rallied. Endpoint are a team that if they do take a big, impactful hit, that's what can stagger them and actually cause them to drop mentally. But right now, everyone's riding high. They're looking happy. They just need to keep this mentality as they find their way through. Jesp towards vent here could be so critical as mid-control is being approached upon. T's trying to slip their way out. He will strike, finds the first frag, gets back as well, and has so much information. But he needs to try and get another kill to aid his teammates, get them time to rotate over. Unfortunately, falls, but Jenko ripping his way through. So impactful. We did get them low, but they're just dying all over the place. This is awkward now. Imi and Pickles to attempt to retake, highly unlikely at this point.
Surely not another shot through the smoke here from Imi. Instead gets flashed off the angle. May have to just save him. You're 8-1 up.
Yeah.
These have been close rounds, remember, Jack. 1 versus 1s, 2 versus 2s. Sliggy, if we can see the money real quick. So yeah, look at that. 2,000, 4,000 onto Pickles, Max, and Imi. And then 350 onto the rest. So if they save this, Imi can drop over 2 guns. Pickles can drop a... how much are they going to get? 1.4k? Yeah, so Pickles can drop over a gun to Mighty Max. So if they save, they can actually have a 4-buy or 4 rifles into the next round. And that next round is so crucial, right? That's where they can try and reset method once again. This is going to be 8-2. If Endpoint win this next buy round, make it 9-2 in their favor, then they could be running away with a big lead here, Jack.
Crazy as well, actually, how many bomb plants we've seen go down for Method right now. Been able to get 5 consistent plants as they work their way through, which is pretty scary. Pickle's actually doing damage, though, into the late rounds.
Survive, yeah.
As long as he stays alive, that's actually a nice little bit of damage done to their economy as well. And they are going to be forced to rebuy quite a few AKs now.
So, let's see what the buy's like on the T side as well. Cryptic's there, in front of your screens. That's the Bianca for Endpoint. Behind him is Mighty Max. Weber there. He's the player that takes some of the mantle of cooling, right? He's the one that suggests to Neilzini, okay, look, this doesn't work, let's try this, let's change this. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what information he's giving us right now. Just somehow, someway, Mighty Max is blind, but eventually loses that jewel.
Bit awkward there, Max getting taken down very early on. This time around, Method actually having that early advantage in their favor could affect the flow of the game, as mid-control in the previous rounds has been quite hard to take, but it was a breeze this time.
Neilzini now expecting the aggression from Cryptics, but he doesn't. Through the smoke, he will find that frag, though. On the other portion of the map, Imi will fall towards mid, and it opens things up.
Weber gets tagged as well, Invent, knocked down to just below 40 HP. Pickles has somehow gone for the push all the way through A main. He gets behind them, takes down Jenko. This is ridiculous. Look how much map control has now been sectioned off by the CT snots.
1 minute on the clock, 3 versus 3. Pickles in the backlines, in the flank. Stanley now needs to find his frag onto Pickles, put it into a 3 versus 2. Weber's low HP as well. Spots out Stanley, doesn't see the bomb just yet. The bomb is on Neilzini towards B. It's a big frag to find. Pickles nails Stanley through the head. Pulse now, sorry, I have the bomb. But Pulse towards B alone. Weber towards mid. If he finds a frag towards A, that could sell a fake. But nevertheless, we're going to be seeing the reset onto Method's economy.
Thing is, Pulse can't rotate properly here as well. No matter where he tries to go, he is cut off. So Weber has to come over and try and assist him. They are going to go for the full-on forced attack towards the B site. Sorry, but Cryptics hunkered down could be such a nuisance. Doesn't have any nades to play with, but can make the call out. He's going to get that information. It's too late into the round for this to be a fake. They know it is going to be a commit as well, so the full rotate comes through. They need to try and assemble and actually shut this one down, though. They are going to arrive on the scene. Jess will strike first, takes down Weber. It all falls in the hands of Pulse. Unfortunately, he can't clutch it. That's 2 frags for Jess, and another round for Endpoint.
9-2, money reset right now for Method on their T side. In the pre-face before this game, I said, Method are known for how good their T side cash is, right? But it seems like it's just falling flat so far. Usually, they go over boost, they find so many kills toward that middle portion of the map, and then from there, they've already got the man advantage. They just simply split towards the site and play the trade game. Endpoint aren't giving away the early frags. Method, in the 5 versus 5s, when they're a man down as well, they're still trying to brute force their entries towards these sites and just get crossfired and taken down by the AWPs and rifles from Team Endpoint. The reset comes in. A Glock onto Neilzini. Why has Weber bought an AK? Did he save that? I don't think he did.
No, it was they all died.
Yeah, so they've all bought. So Neilzini
Someone
buys...
dropped him that as well.
This is confusing. So Neilzini does have a Glock. He bought Smoke, Kevlar helmet, and I believe he must have expected to be dropped to Tech 9 or something, but instead it's going to be the AK in the hands of Weber. One of the most established people in the UK scene. If there's someone you want with that rifle, it's going to be him.
Oh yeah, a ridiculous wealth of experience there. I mean, we saw him over and obviously back in the Source days, tearing his way through the German scene as well. Always been around doing damage, but can he roll back the years into this round, Snods? That's going to be the question. It's all about today that matters, the attack towards the A-bomb site.
Playing retake as well towards Highway and Car. Pickles and Imi to do as much damage as they can to the T's as they approach the site and once the bomb is down.
Imi in the elevated angle. The support is close by as well. It just depends how they actually play this one. Method using their utility to zone out the CTs efficiently, force them to bend, and see if they can break them after they get their way on towards the bomb site. Imi doing damage, actually comes out big with 2 frags. Pickles chimes in as well, taking down Weber. This is huge so far as they haven't lost a single man. It's been a clean sweep. If they can have a clean round into this, it would be great, but Pulse puckers himself up a little bit, does grab that deagle and start to do some damage. Snods finds the head of Pickles, trying to respond that on towards Imi as well, as they are retaking together, but Neilzini is actually hunkered down as well. He's got his AK back from Weber. He scooped it back up and trying to do some damage. Caught off guard though, unfortunately, to get sidetracked. Pulse is still trying to do something towards the end. It isn't quite meant to be. They do take a couple of casualties, which a few dinks there and there. They get the bomb plant on Method as well, so at least they have a little bit of a boost going into this next round.
Double digits now for Endpoint on the CT side. 10-2 is the scoreline. I did not anticipate this, Jack.
Yeah.
Stellar performance from Endpoint. Seems like when practice doesn't go well, in officials they play well, and vice versa when they have good practice. So maybe that's a sign, who knows. 10-2 now. It's going to be 8-round deficit for Method on their T side. Round number 13. Going to be the eco as well. They might be forfeiting round number 11 for Endpoint. Or back onto Imi. AK's picked up for Pickles on Max towards that A side. Jesp and Cryptics on the M4s. And on the T side, it's going to be no sets of Kevlar. Tech-9s, P250s, that's all they have in their arsenal. Going to be stacking up towards B, going for the burst towards the speed bomb site. But good CT defense here.
Cryptics in position. He's been looking good in the previous round. That's back with Jesp as well, the Swedish superstar that starts to hammer down. Unfortunately, will fall short. Max comes into effect as well as Cryptics has fallen. There's Imi doing his old standard play, jumping down, striking from CT. It's just Stanley and Jenko left, and they are spread thin.
Bombmaster across to the site as well. There's a gap in that smoke, and actually, Imi will take advantage of that. Stanley does fall. Jenko now in the 1 versus 3.
Flashbang comes through. Jenko, best case scenario, if he gets the bomb plant down, just gets that extra little bit of a cash bonus because it's unlikely he wins the round here. They have 3 members still alive on the side. Imi gets a lot of information as well, going for these jiggle pigs, just toying with him right now. They don't want to allow him to do anything into this one. He is going to try and strike, but Imi will overpower him.
Another 3k for Imi on the orb. That was the eco, of course. No sets of Kevlar, so nothing to read into that much. There will be 11 rounds on the CT side for Endpoint. Whether they're shaking his head, he knows exactly how detrimental this is going to be in the next half, right? If they lose the pistol, that could be it. The first map lost in seconds. Still, though, round number 14, 5 AKs. We haven't seen an AWP come out, and the T side have been used effectively. We saw Nilzinu just hold and play quite passive with it. I want to see Jenko Pulse play aggressive and try and find the first entry, just as Imi is now towards B.
Look at this, the contact AWP played. That's great as he's able to pull it out, takes down Jenko. There's another frag going their way as well. Cryptics pops the head of Pulse. This is the round where Method needed to try and do something, give themselves a buffer into the next half. And already, they have no idea what's going on. Great shock and AWP play from Endpoint there.
Exactly that. 5 versus 3 now, Cryptics is low. Spray comes out from Stanley. You've got Mighty Max towards Vents as well as backup. Crossfire comes in from Max and Cryptics and then lock it down. 4 versus 2. The player of low HP has fallen. That's Cryptics. That's what you want, especially. 4 players on their CT side, all of them full HP. Method now backs against the ropes. Bomb towards T-spawn. Nilzinu towards mid-main. They have no control over the map. They have to retake it. Versus Pickles towards the A side. Boost will come in towards mid, maybe? Actually, no. They were thinking about it. But instead, Weber and Nilzinu, these guys have been playing together for years and years. Right now, they have to make sure this chemistry shows.
It's true. Boosted up towards Shroud as well. He's in a prime time position. It just depends if they actually clear this. Sometimes you do see teams get hesitant in these situations. They try and barge their way, and Nilzinu and Co should be aware of this. They normally check it quite consistently. Pickles, if not, will be such a powerhouse from this angle. He spotted out the barrel of Nilzinu's rifle as well, so he knows they're starting to come through. They walk out blindly, strikes with the first frag. Weber tries to respond as well, but Pickles will hammer down, finds their headshot, and Endpoint still trucking their way through.
There it is, 15-2. Endpoint 10 rounds in the lead after the first half, and there's still one more round to play for. There's a big difference between a 12-3 half and a 13-2 half.
Yeah.
12-3, you win the pistol, don't allow the T to get the bomb down, win versus the force fire, win versus the Eco, you could be seeing a 12-6 scoreline, and then yeah, Method could definitely bring that one back. 13-2 though, that's where things really do get dire. Round number 15, Tech-9 sees head by for the T side. Gonna be going for the door burst. Mighty Max boosted up, holding for the cross towards forklift. Pickles towards quad as well. They're in great positions to counter the door burst.
Doorburst comes out, they're going to try and charge their way through. They actually get the opening frag in close range combat as Weber's able to wield that Tech-9, but Max strikes back, tears his way through 2 of them. Jenko, though, eventually is able to redeem his team a little bit as it falls into a 3 versus 3 Method. They need to try and play on these close angles. That's the only way their pistols are going to be effective. That Molotov actually flew in as well, burnt them so low. They're forced to move out of prime time positions. They're bouncing around. You can see everyone very awkward right now, Snodds. They look confused and a bit panicked. Pulse has grabbed himself a rifle, though, finds a headshot back towards Imi, and it will be a 2 versus 3 as they make their slow approach through, just spamming through the smokes, hoping to at least get something. They get a slight bit of information, but Pulse overpowers them. Pulse playing so effectively with this rifle could be the sole reason they get 3 rounds on the board off the back of this half. Nilzinu swings up close, just trying to take the 1v1 to him, but can't quite find it. Jenko will find the headshot, and they do get 3 rounds on the board, but is that going to be enough of a buffer?
They were all so low HP as well. 1 bullet from Jesper's AK. Could have been 13 on the board. But nevertheless, it is 12-3. Definitely didn't expect to be saying that one. Endpoint CT side had it on lock, right? They weren't giving away the early frag towards mid. They played it passive towards the middle portion of the map. They forced Method just to group together. How many times did they go A? I think they tried it twice, or every single time they're on pistols, they'd go towards the A site. With the rifles, they'll just group up towards B, and then just get annihilated as soon as they try to cross towards that site.
That's the thing. Didn't we see, like, what, 3 hits towards B-bomb site, I think, in total?
Buy rounds, yeah.
Yeah, it was very sort of all over the place. It was constantly towards the A site. But Pickles was the sole reason in the early game that they just couldn't get in. Consistently getting 2 or even 3 frags per attack on towards the site.
Exactly that. I do wonder how many frags he did get in the first half. It must have been, what, 17 maybe? We saw both of them have a similar affair on Mirage in the first game of the day. Imi there, IGL, leader, captain, whatever you want to call him.
Baldy.
Oh, you're giving it. So, we are going into the second pistol of the third game tonight. Let's take a look at the buys. Endpoint on that T side. This is a crucial pistol to win. They win this. That should be the game. Done and dusted. You win versus the Force Supply, win versus the Eco, and you're at match point 50-3. You know, the game's pretty much over. Interesting as well, the last time we casted Method, it was 16-3 to them. And now they're seeing the opposite side to it, how it was for Fish 123 at the Prem Finals. Anyway, though, Nilzinho, Smoke Kit, forces a Kevlar onto the rest of the CTs. Aggression towards mid. They're going to go for the mid boost and try to come in behind A main, but the attack is from Squeaky.
As they're going to try and flood their way through. Can the CTs actually hold this back? Nilzinho kicks it off, but Mighty Max has been able to slide his way in towards the bomb site fairly smoothly, gets it planted as well, and this full retake comes over. They're losing men all over the place, though. Max and Jess fall. It's on Cryptics. Normally, he is key in clutch situations, but this was too much of a tall order, and Stanley takes him down.
Clinical player there from Method on that CT pistol retake. Individually, they are probably the most skilled team in the UK, and right there it showed. They can get back into this one. 4-12 now as they win the pistol. The bomb did go down, so we might be seeing the full eco here from Endpoint. Then again, though, they could go for an audacious buy here to try catch Method off guard. Pickles buys the P250. Actually, Pickles there, 22-9, so 22 frags in your first half after having such a poor performance last week on Cash. Definitely stepping up to the plate this week. So, we saw what happened there, right? 12-4, Infuse versus Endpoint, and Endpoint managed to bring it back. Have we seen the repeat?
Definitely true. Could be the case right now. These SMGs struggling slightly. We did see Jenko actually fail out to get a frag towards mid. He does fall. Luckily enough, Pulse is on the site towards B, tearing his way through. He will actually go down in the end. Jenko's so low, but he just gets the early attack towards them. Pickles trying to hammer down on the trigger with that P250. The bomb is down in an awkward location as well. Unlikely he can do too much more into the round, but even then, 3 casualties against Method.
They've done more than enough right now. Obviously, 3 kills and the bomb going down. That's great, but they've already got their 3 kills, so job's done for this one. Pickles has no pressure. If he finds another frag here and turns into a 1 versus 1, the money on that CT side will be so low. Kits though onto Weber. They can play retake. That's the question is, right? Do they want to allow Pickles to get the bomb? They have such good positions towards CT and towards that B-bomb site that when Pickles crosses, he should just fall.
Pickles finally going to try and dip his toes in the water and see what can happen. Makes his approach round. Weber spots him out, and he will unfortunately get taken down there.
So, 5-12 as the buy comes in now from Endpoint. See what the money's like on the Method side as well. They lost 3 players in that last eco. How will that impact their economy? So, UMP kept from Weber. Pulse as well buys up the UMP to match that. Actually, no, it gets dropped it, sorry. So, 4 M4s and the UMP onto Pulse. And the money is fairly decent. If Endpoint win this, force Method onto a UMP FAMAS buy, that could spell the end in the first map here from Method. The favourites, one of the favourites for the whole tournament as well. Not just this best of 2. 5 AKs on the Endpoint side. No AWP, unfortunately. If the bomb did go down, say Pickles did plant that, could be seeing a glass cannon AWP potentially. But instead, they will be going for the 5 rifle setup, and interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, Weber playing close by garbage there as well, so yeah. Wonder what he's going to be able to bring to the table right now. Bit of a stalemate. Endpoint just holding to see if there is any early information plays from Method. But nothing of the sort.
Nothing of the sort, indeed.
I know, it's froze, mate.
Oh, really? Yeah.
There. I only just saw the timer.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you not know it was frozen?
No, mate. I didn't realize what was going on. I've only just looked up at the timer. I was just looking at Cryptics.
Handsome guy.
Yeah. Nice box as well. There you go.
There we go.
Oh, essentially nothing's changed. But there's the opening frag. Cryptics will take down Stanley as they've made their way onto the bomb site. Imi actually takes down Jenko as well as they've secured it fairly efficiently. The smokes are going to go down. Weber does attempt to respond as best as he can, but the bomb's been planted and they have 4 members hunkered there.
4 versus 3. Weber is low HP. They have kits on the CT side though, and 2 Molotovs and a smoke as well onto Pulse. But one of those mollies is taken out as Weber does full. 4 versus 2.
Pulse here. hoping to do something. But the call has been made, forced to back off now as they know they can't run the risk of going in for the retake here. Highly unlikely they'll get anything worthwhile. So they have to fall back. This is going to be 13 rounds on the board right now for Endpoint's Nods.
13-5. Sliggy, can we see the money, please, real quick? Just want to see if they can drop over any guns. So they're going to get 1,400 in the bank. So they can only really drop over Famas's. Stanley can drop over. Actually, no, Stanley's dead, so he can't drop anything. So they will have an extra M4 into this buy. It is 13-5. They can eco this one and have a 4 buy and allow Endpoint to get to 14, but, you know, 14-5 down, you're going to have to win 11 rounds in the trot if you don't want to have overtime. So we could be seeing 3 rifles on the CT side and then 2 UMPs, or maybe a 5.7 full utility and a kit. But still, you have to be favoring Endpoint into this round. There's a very good call there from Imi to rush towards A, caught those CT players off guard, caught us off guard. And that does make it 13 on the board for Endpoint now. 5 versus 5. It's going to be the USP on Jenko. So they are saving. They are going to allow Endpoint to get to 14.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy, giving them the free one here.
It's confident as well. They're going to be anticipating that they're going to get 11 rounds in a row to not force OT. They need 10 in a row, and they can concede 1, and that would be overtime. But still, you have to be favoring Endpoint now. 5 AKs. This is the dream scenario. I don't think they're going to be anticipating playing versus the Eco. That's why they're playing so slow. They think this is a real buy round. Nilzinho and Pulse do have rifles, but they're playing so passive with them. They have both the rifles stacked towards B. If this is an execute towards the A site, they will save the M4 and AK. But if they're lucky, and Imi calls to go B, they're taking the risk.
Making that play now towards mid. They are going to get themselves into elevated angle. Jenko, most he can do is get some information. Spots out the foot as Jesp, and actually falls back though. Going to go for the peek once again, but they're up close personal now. Should be fairly easy. The flashbang goes over. He's going to be blind. Imi will get the opening kill. Actually not. Jenko strikes, overpowers Imi with a pistol in close range. Pickles will be able to get the trade back, but this leaves them in a 4 versus 4. Stanley as well. Close proximity towards door. He's going to be such a nuisance when they flood their way in towards the bomb site. That CZ can be an absolute powerhouse. Up close like this. Strikes upon Max from range as well. Takes him down, but wanted to focus towards door. Cryptics will return fire as they fall into a 2 versus 3. Weber's low, but they still need to get towards him as Nilzinho is just shredding them.
1 versus 3. Finds the first frag. Weber 2 HP. Nilzinho full HP. Kevlar, armor, and the AK.
Jess takes the fight, finds a frag to Nilzinho. This is actually manageable with the elevated angle from Weber. Even though he was low, had a better angle, is able to rain down.
He played that so smart. 2 HP, no Kevlar. He went for the off angle to catch Jesp off guard, and it worked. This might force an eco here. Actually, no. Imi goes straight for the buy. Double flashbang, AK Kevlar helmet as well. And there will be a buy on that T side. 2 Deagles, 1 Tech 9, 2 AKs onto Max and Imi. Are they going to play this one fast, Jack? 5 players heading towards the A side. They could boost and go over mid, but it's looking like they don't want any of that. Max going towards door, 4 players towards A main. Stanley here with a flashbang as well. This could spell the end.
They shouldn't be ready for this. They're all entirely blind. Stanley gets the first frag. Isn't overconfident as well. I like that. Gets the first opener and then falls back, but takes down Max in the actual round as well. This is huge. Pickles and Jess can retaliate as they start to dispatch the opposition fairly swiftly. Jenko letting out an absolute hailstorm of bullets from the M4 here. Wants to stop them from crossing. The bomb gets dropped, Snods. Cryptics, sure he's on the site, but he's got nothing that he can plant. He gets overpowered by Jenko as well.
3 players staying alive for the method side. Jess typing away, saying what was wrong into that round. They had the 3 versus 4. Obviously, Stanley got the first frag, was traded out, and then just found a nice headshot towards Heaven onto Weber. But instead, they come back. Cryptic smoked off the site as well towards Highway. He didn't do the smoke that blocks off Highway and Car. So Endpoint taking a tactical pause here as well. What is it, 13-7? They don't want Method to get any momentum after winning that round.
Thing is as well, when you look at it right now, even though it is a close, it's actually quite a dominant scoreline for Endpoint, and it looks like they're close to being able to close this one out. With Method, even if they go through a half with sort of 4 rounds, 5 rounds, you can never count them out. Exactly. They can always instantly bounce back on their other half. And this is where Jake needs to come into effect as well.
You can see as well, he has the, what is that, a notepad? Not really a notepad, but printed off strats, right? So if you remember Zeus and Fallen, I remember the first time, what was it, that DreamHack winter, it was like 2015, and Zeus had the notepad, and he was just reading off strats one by one, what he thought would work when the tactical pauses came in. Jakey might be trying to mirror that. Has the list of strats, thinking about, okay, they're doing this, 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 we can do this, 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 try and counter that. Method on the CT side, What are you pointing out, Jack?
For the double AWP, mate.
Oh, yeah, wow, I didn't see that. So Pulse and Weber AWPing. Jenko not on the AWP. I thought Jenko was the primary, but you never know in this scenario. He has 22 kills with the rifle, so if he's in form with the rifles, just keep him with that. It's going to be 13-7, round number 21. Fast play here. This could be the doorburst once again. They have Deagles, though, on 2 players, so Deagles, mobility, not really something you say in the same sentence.
Oh, and that absolutely sucks. Max getting taken down early. They can't go for the short smoke. They can't flash out, so they just have to go in dry right now, and it's a meat grinder. Surely they don't get anything out of this round. They do find a couple of frags here and there, and they've grabbed an AWP for Jesp as well, but Pickles tried to delay as much as he could, peeks out, and gets punished because of this. Jesp as well won't be allowed a bomb plant. Tried to strike with the AWP and falls.
Method now only in a 5-round deficit. 13-8 is the scoreline. Endpoint can go for another buy here. If they don't get it done now, then there is potential for the comeback to happen. 13-9, force another eco, and actually, Endpoint are going to double eco for the AWPs.
And this is going to be 9 rounds on the board now for Method, getting ever so close. Endpoint are burning through the buffer they have.
Exactly. 13-5 up. They've conceded 3 rounds. The full eco here should be the 4th round. And at that point, it will only be 4 rounds separated these 2 teams.
Max charging out here, hoping to get the openers. They sprint their way through, but Stanley and Jenko will be able to hold them at bay, just tearing their way through them oh so easily, as Max is going to fall. It's all left on Imi. PT-50 in hand could actually take down Stanley at the very least, but Stanley will instantly return fire. 4
players staying alive for that Method side, which means their money is starting to build now. Even if they concede the 14th round, they can buy up afterwards. Even if they concede the 15th round, they can still buy up because their money is strong. Actually, no, it's not. It's fairly awful. Actually, no, look, you got 750 on Jenko, but 2,000 Stanley, nearly 6k on Zinio, 4,000 on Weber, and 8,000 on Pulse. So before I saw Pulses, it wasn't actually that bad. So they can buy up into the next round if Endpoint win this one. 14-9, Method still have the pressure to be given towards Endpoint. It will be Imi's AWP. Where's he going with that? Goes towards A main, finds the first strike onto Stanley. A 1-man advantage after only 1 minute 37 on the clock. Back to the double AWP setup as well from the CT side. Weber just holding alone towards his A side. We might see the default stay for Endpoint. They're just going to wait. They know that eventually Method have to split up 2-2 towards these sites. They might expect that Method give up mid as well. Or they have 1 player towards highway. They could go for a good B split here as well. That could be effective. Or they could try taking shot on mid, find that 1 player towards connector or highway, and then explode on the A site.
That's very true. Still, just playing it slow right now, though. They've done the early damage. They have the advantage into the round quite massively off the back of that opening frag. Max will get the smoke out towards this A bomb site, just keeping them busy. You can see actually quite invested. They do believe this is going to be the play towards A, when in reality it's not.
It's towards B. Only Pulse there as well to hold the line. 3 players out of the 4 towards A. They find the frag onto Max, and now surely they know it's going to be the B side.
Pulse here needs to show off that AWP prowess, needs to be the prolific fragger behind the round. Will Strike takes down Cryptix to give them time to play with, but misses the follow-up frag. This is huge. Endpoint have time to play with now. The Molotovs are raining in, sure, setting the site ablaze. Imi actually getting caught between the fire and flames as well, but he's able to fight through it. Unfortunately, will fall just towards the end of the molly there.
It's not worth it. He gives the advantage from a 3 versus 3 into a 3 versus 2. Kits on all 3 players, but a lack of utility.
Pickles has to try and get the advantage back in their favor, but he falls. This is where the round is almost as good as done now. Jesp left in a 1 versus 3. It's going to be oh so hard for him to try and hold this back. They take the fight through, and Jenko just doing damage.
13-10. Bomb planted is the silver lining here for Method. For Method? For Endpoint, sorry. They can maybe buy up into the next one. You have 3,400 plus the 800, so you can go for an AK Kevlar helmet and smoke. Flashbang. This frag from Jenko was massive. If Pickles found that, put in the 2 versus 2, and the last 2 players rotating in from CT as well, you can hold that crossfire from checkers towards headshot, towards sight as well. That could spell the end for Method. Anyway though, 13-10. 3 rounds now separating these 2 teams. Endpoint brought it back from 12-4. Can Method bring it back from 13-5? As we go into round number 24. 5 AKs on the Endpoint side, no AWP for Imi. He's been so impactful with the AWP. And speaking about the AWP, Weber finds the first frag. Endpoint have been losing rounds when they had the advantage, and now Method have it. This is where Endpoint really have to step up.
Yeah, Weber knows how to wield the weapon very effectively, so does Pulse as well. More of your aggressive AWP, very fast and flashy on the flicks, and the push coming in towards him here, even though it's not a fabulous angle, being able to get the opening couple of frags and just fall back, buy his teammate enough time to rotate. Goes for the contact play as well, almost actually takes down Pickles there.
Does indeed. Smokes off towards B main. Actually allows the T's to cross over, but will peek towards checkers, but Max does find him.
Great timing as they push their way through. Nilzinho going to get burnt to a crisp as well, taking dinks from all over the place, Nods, as they charge their way through. He finally works out where Pickles is, but it's too late. Stanley trusts the player on the smoke, but it doesn't go his way either, and it's all on Weber, trying to do the old Emmy play here as he wraps off shots through the smoke, but it doesn't quite work out. It does dissipate as well now, and he can't try and go for this. 4 men hunker down on the site. The T's are in great after plants. He can't run the risk.
Endpoint will have their round loss money reset. If he can try and get extra frags here and try and whittle down that T economy as much as possible, that's the only real damage he can have. Only real effect he can really do. As we go into round number 25, this is going to be 14-10 now for Method. Method, if they reset the money here on Endpoint, that could be the deal breaker. They win, they make it 14-11. They force Endpoint to use whatever they have left in their bank and go for a force buy. If they win versus the Pistols and maybe an AK or two, 12-14. Win versus the Eco, maybe even 13-14. And at that point, it's anyone's game. It's anyone's game, and it comes down to that final buy round. But it's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
What if Method win the next round versus the force buy versus the contact plays as well? You are favoring Endpoint in this scenario. Stellar performance on Cash. Completely different affair to what we saw last week versus Infused.
So they did have the cash to reinvest into this one. They are going to go for the double up setup. They don't want to go on that CT side, but has to be a different round here. There is no more chances, Snods. This is it. 1 round away from Endpoint claiming match point, and it is that aggressive play towards B. Pulse is going to miss the opening shot as he struggles to connect it, but will be able to redeem himself. Finds going towards Jess. There's the follow-up as well. Takes down Pickles. Pulse! A hat-trick comes out. Great play from the man. All on his own. Nilzinho and Stanley will find the final 2 frags as well. Method, they needed to pick up the round, and they do so.
Huge play there from Pulse. The reface after reface after reface. Merits him that 3rd frag. 3K to stunt the push there from Endpoint. And the fast play is matched by some fast flicks from Pulse. 14-11 now, the money could be low. And actually, they're going to go for the save round, so they won't be forced into this one. I anticipated a double AK buy, like 3 Tech 9s, you go for a contact play, whatever. Instead, Endpoint will be conceding this one. They're going to be ecoing just to Pistols, Kevlar only onto Cryptics, and apart from that, it's going to be Deagle, 2 Glocks, and a Tech 9. So this should be 14-12. 1 buy round win for Method, that could be it.
Yeah, Pulse already continuing the damage from the previous round as well as he finds that opening kill. Stanley scoped in, actually unscopes at the wrong timing, so they have encroached their way out towards the A bomb site, but it's still not going to be that much to actually talk about. The boost comes in from Weber. From the back line, he could be massive. At least deny the possible KOs that will try and fall back towards Connector. He won't let them survive into this, and it should be a fairly swift round once again going in favor of Method at this point.
Exactly that. 4 players staying alive, but obviously the money doesn't really make too much of a difference. But what money will make a difference is the fact the bomb was planted, so we could be seeing the AWP full utility buy from Endpoint into this round. 14-12 will be the scoreline. Method, only a 2-round deficit. If they win this buy round here, win versus the Eco from Endpoint, this could be 14-14. You said you thought it was going to be the 30-round game, and you may be right.
That's what I was expecting right now. Both of these teams, they've had shaky form, but they are so evenly matched in terms of firepower. This has to be the all-out warfare that we were expecting. That's what it's boiling down to, Snods.
Pulse back on the AWP. We saw Weber wielding it as well. No double AWP setup on the CT side from Method. It's going to be the single one. And the same goes for the T side. Imi wielding the AWP, and around him will be 4 AKs. Let's see what he can do here. Round number 27, 14 on the board from Endpoint. If they win one more round, they have match point Jack. Crucial for them as Weber makes the self-boost once again. He does this all the time. It's like a Mirage where he does the short jump. He does the self-boost towards mid and plays the off angle to try and catch the T's off guard.
Well, that's one of the things about having Weber in your arsenal is the mechanical skill that he has compared to other players. So fleshed out. He understands how to use those angles and how to use the aim mechanics to his advantage.
Exactly that. Imi holding towards A main once again. The flash comes in, but Stanley won't be peeking his way once again. It will be a slow round, a slow default. Endpoint anticipating some push, some aggression from Method. But at this point, Method have so much to play for. They can't concede a round, otherwise it will go minimum overtime. Jenko towards Heaven. He's had a stellar performance so far. If he gets 2 kills here, he should be on 30 frags. Maybe might even be on 30 kills already. And actually he is dead on 30. But is he enough to pull them over the line?
It's going to be right now where it kicks off as well. The doors will open, the smokes will roll out, and the T's are going to try and overthrow the defense, take control of the bomb site. Jenko needs to strike, gets the opening frag, puts himself on towards 31. There's the 32nd as well. As he does damage him, he will fire back, but it's still nowhere near enough. There's 4 players on the side of Method alive and kicking. Up against the 2 on the side of Endpoint. Just get caught off as well. They are going to be aware of his location now, so they know it's that full commit towards the site. They know both players are in close proximity. Imi will come into effect. No, shuts down Pulse. Tries to get the follow-up frag as well, as it is just left on the IGL of Endpoint to try and do the unthinkable here, but they're swarming towards him. Stanley takes him down. They're 1 round away from equalizing the scoreline 14-14.
Seems like Endpoint have always had this problem where they have a big advantage. Even when I was playing on the Endpoint side, we would be 12-3 up, 14-4 up, and we would find ways to lose the game. You play so restricted at the start of your T-half. You don't want to be the player that loses the rounds and makes the comeback possible for the other side. And then once it does get to, you're 14-10, 14-12, suddenly you finally start taking risks, but you take risks when it's too late, and you find yourself in this scenario. From a 13-5, Jack, we see ourselves at a 14-13 scoreline. Endpoint trying the A site once again.
Trying to overthrow the A bomb site defense as per usual. They flood their way out. They actually do go 1-for-1 right now, but Stanley will retaliate as he goes big with a double kill. There's Weber chiming in from the sidelines as well, so it's just Max left, who you imagine will fall fairly swiftly. Stanley will be the one to put him down, and now they have done it. They've got themselves back to 14-14 Snods. The next round is kind of the decider at this point. You get yourself a match point, you guarantee overtime, you put yourself in a good economic standing.
Yeah, but I think the money right now on the Method side is so strong, it's about Endpoint. Yeah, it is. Look, 15,000 to where he can drop everyone a gun. Yeah. It's all about Endpoint. If Method win this, make it 15-14, Endpoint will have no money in the bank. That means they're going to be forced onto a Tech 9 buy, 1 AK, 2 AK. Method right now have the advantage. If Endpoint win this round, make it 15-14, Method can still fall buy. The same can't be said, though, for Endpoint.
That's the thing. If Method do pick this round up, most likely it's going to be Endpoint letting it slip, as Method have been able to win out all of the ecos consistently.
They have indeed. Stunning now. Copying Pickles' roll towards Shroud. The off angle is so good. I mean, in these crunch time rounds, 14-14, when the pressure gets to people, sometimes they just don't check the little details. Anyway, the bomb on Imi towards A main, just holding back, hoping that someone on that CT side will go and walk into his crossfire, into his AWP scope, sorry. But instead, Stanley's boosted up towards Shroud. That could be the deal breaker here for Endpoint. We've seen them try and take this A site multiple times. It just hasn't been working for them. Will they have success towards the B side?
Jenko as well here, playing from Vent. He's going to be the one that actually spots out Imi and gets the information off the back of this if Imi goes for the play. And Jenko, normally deadly accurate in these situations, Nuts.
No map control for the T side of 45 seconds left. Smoke's coming from mid. Jenko, if he finds 1 or 2 frags here, this could be the end. Finds the frag, maybe onto Jess, plays him onto low. Isn't backing out just yet.
A characteristic of him actually gets him down low, but can't quite find the frags. They've been able to take short control. This is where the split push is at its strongest, Snods. They can force everyone out of position, but Stanley, the elevated angle, it's so easy for him to find the kills, but Mighty Max and Pickles actually do fire back. They take down Weber and Stanley. They can now encroach towards the bomb site and overthrow that CT defense.
Endpoint can't throw this round. You have the man advantage, you have the site in your favor as well. 3 kits on that CT side, flashbang, smoke onto Pulse. There's still a chance here.
Juicy Jenko tries to chime in, but unfortunately goes down. There's a double kill. The collateral from Imi as well. This is huge so far as he tears his way through. It's all on Pulse. He tries to do it on his lonesome. One of the carries team through, but match point has been taken. Endpoint 1 round away now from securing it, but it's still going to be so hard because there's so much money on Method.
Exactly that. Orb shots through the smoke. Collapse now as well. 14-14 and Imi delivers it. Let's see what it's like from his POV. Shoots 1, gets the double kill. 15-14 now, Method. They need to play for OT. They will have the full buy, and actually, they have a better buy than Endpoint do. Yeah. Oh, no, actually, they don't, because Jesp actually does get dropped the AK, so. We are into round number 30, as you predicted, Jack, but are we going to see more than 30? Will this be overtime? And maybe it will be. Pulse finds the frag and gets the better of Imi. Jesp does pick up the AWP gun. Molotov comes in towards Checker, Smoke comes in front of B main, and that blocks off all information. Pulse might be anticipating a fast play towards B. Obviously, you see the IGL AWP peek towards B, but no one's actually following. Instead, Endpoint are playing a nice and slow default. Bomb towards mid-main, along with Pickles and Cryptics. Mighty Max once again towards door. No map control right now for the T side. What happened last time was they went for the late mid control. It's looking like they may do the same again. They're in position to go for the crisscross smokes towards mid, and maybe go for a split towards a flash through those smokes as well. Or you do the crisscross smokes mid, force the highway players to come mid, or one of the highway players to come mid, and then try and attack that site when there's only 1 player there.
Difference maker this time around, though, is actually have Nilzinho and Weber defending towards me with a good crossfire, rather than just Jenko playing from vents. They have switched up a little bit. Jenko situated towards the A site as well. Always absolutely naughty when it comes down to spraying and praying. He will rip his way through one man, takes down Cryptics. So they have a massive favor into the round. This could be Method taking us into OT here as the remaining duo on the side of Endpoint need to try and claw it back. Pickles will go out first, try and get the entries, takes the head off Jenko as he just slowly makes his approach towards the bomb site. They've got 30 seconds to play with and they can recover the bomb as well. Here comes Jesp. Has his fallen IGL Zorp, but he gets overpowered by Pulse. He falls, and it's all on Pickles.
This would have to be an absolutely incredible round here. Charlie Pickles himself, 1 versus 3. Uses the last bit of utility he has. And from behind, Weber will make it overtime. 15-15, Pickles does fall. Momentum in that second half was definitely in favor of Method. Will they carry it through on overtime? We saw an extremely strong CT hold and CT defense from both sides. In overtime, though, you only have 3 rounds.
Yeah, you have to be consistently on the ball in those overtime rounds. And the thing is as well, Method, more so historically, all these domestic games that we've seen them play in the past, if it gets into an overtime situation, that's when Method snap out of it and actually lock the game down. The
experience is on their side, the chemistry's there. They've been a team for so long now, sub obviously, or excluding the swap from Jenko to Fry1, but obviously Jenko was in the lineup before. When it comes to the crunch times, when the pressure's high, Nilzinho, Weber, Pulse, these are the players that deliver.
It's true. They need to be on the ball here, step themselves up, really get the fire beneath their heels once again.
This is a massive game as well. For Method, they've gone 1-1 versus XL and Epsilon. If they get the 2-0 here, that could be their gateway into the top 4. Prophecy leading the charge right now. They've obviously had the 2-0 both weeks. Same goes for Envis Academy. Those guys, Prophecy and Envis Academy, you have to be expecting to be top 4 anyway, right? The caliber of player that we've been seeing from them has been stellar. But for Method, they need the 2-0 here. They need the 2-0 this week. Try and situate themselves within the top 4.
I actually like this as well. Just go for the 1-AWP. Don't run the risk of if you lose that round, you completely screw over the economy across the whole team. And Pulse has been playing phenomenally with the weapon as well.
Weber goes for the self-boost once again. Imi does spot it. Can't really do too much about it. Once again, Imi takes his AWP towards A main, and we've seen him trying to get aggressive towards B. Pulse did find that frag and win that duel. Instead, though, he's going to wait for the smoke to fade. He might even clear out the site. They can execute off of this A main position. Imi clearing out all the angles. Might catch Stanley off guard, and he does. 1-man advantage now.
That's great. Imi actually getting the opener there will stump the defense ever so much. Jenko tries to retaliate, but he's just getting information. No real kills, and Imi shuts him down as well as a headshot as he blows him away. Huge round so far from Ian.
15-15, first round of overtime. 5 versus 3. They have the AWP in place, so they could go for the safe here. It's all down to what Jesp can do towards mid main.
Very true. He needs to just try and be a nuisance in the backline. Jesp will just take his time on this lurk roll, punishes Nilzinho. That is all he had to bring to the table here. Pulse as well fires off, will eliminate Imi, but they're so paranoid. They know that Jeff's in the backline, and you can see how much they're focusing towards that. That slight seed of doubt has cost them the round almost. As Pulse has to go in on his lonesome, and the Cryptics continue the fight as well. Takes down Weber and Endpoint, get that round on the board.
Big round to win. First round on that T side.
The economy on Pulse as well, because they actually lost this round, he's not going to be able to get the AK the M4 buyout into the final round of the half.
Potentially. Yeah. Obviously, if they lose this next round, then yes, you're right. But if they win this round with 3 alive, he can be dropped. But look at that. 0 cash in the bank for most of the Method side. They need to have a strong win in this round. They need 4 alive, 3 alive to be able to drop over M4s to the players that do decease. But anyway, round number 2 of overtime, 16-15. Endpoint winning that first T round. We saw them struggle in regulation, but bring it through when it matters.
Weber donning the AWP here into this round as well. You can see sort of what we touched on, the fact they are quite organic in that style. They do want to switch the AWP out depending on who's on the ball with it, who can actually get the heat behind them, and Weber going to be the one donning it for this round.
Slow defo here from Endpoint. Bomb left towards mid main. Jesp now towards B main. Flash comes in. Stanley doesn't want to get too aggressive just yet. Actually a failed flashbang then from Weber, I believe. So that will stop any aggression towards A main. You can see the idea behind that was they lose control of mid and they try to take back a portion of the map. They're trying to take back A main, but a failed flash could mean they just get swarmed.
Yeah, this also gives a lot of information to the T side as well, as they know there are 2 players there trying to go for that flash push as they were doing previously. Pickles actually gets the opener. Jenko's low as well, and he was 16 HP, so could be taken down by a HE. All the Molotovs they have on that T side as they are still just revving their engines. No full commit yet, but it will be the play towards A with a split push.
40 seconds left. 1-man advantage for Endpoint. Stanley towards his A site. Has a Molotov, so can postpone the attack for 6 seconds. Does he use it correctly? The Molotov comes into his quad. Stanley now towards site. Swarmed.
Can he actually do here? Gets taken down. Absolutely nothing. Zimmy will strike towards him. They're actually going to go for the save as well. They've got no money, so they won't be able to get the buyout if they fall here. They were left with sort of $0 across the board. They have to save it.
Exactly. Stanley there gets pinched from Highway, pinched from a main, and Squeaky left alive. You can see what happens, how as soon as Stanley died, all of those players were in such a good position to save. You had one person towards connector, 2 towards B, so where was Stanley's support?
This could be a bit of a nuisance as well here, Jess. He could try and run the risk, really. They can always get that.
They've got money,
yeah,
they're fine. Yeah, they're fine. Jets right now has nothing to lose. It's so important they take rifles out of the next round. As you put an AK and M4 into the hands of Jenko or Pulse, you know they can work magic with those rifles. Just clearing out all the angles, Jesp and Pulse. See that, didn't find a frag. Whiff there, but will land the headshot. That's one of these rifles taken out of the final round of OT.
That's horrible as well, because Pulse had so little cash from the AWP buy. Losing the rifle in his hands, they're not going to have enough money to
5-7, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is it, 17 to 15 now? Final round of the first half of OT. Endpoint, strong play on their CT side regulation. Can they copy that onto the second half of OT? If they can, then we could be seeing a 1-0 in favour of Endpoint. Pickles peeks out towards mid. And Amy there from Boost will find the frag onto Jenko. Mid is exposed. CT defense is split now 2-2. Flash comes in towards Amy and they have to take control of somewhere of the map.
That's huge as well, getting the opening frag on the board. And the follow-up as well, Imi taking down Stanley. This is massive right now, just tearing his way through. He's not an AWPer, you know.
Holds towards A main, and eventually they do walk into a smoke. Cryptic's anticipating some aggression there from Weber. Oh, gets close there from the smoke, but won't quite land the shot. 1 minute on the clock, the bombers towards mid-main. Endpoint have a 2-man advantage thanks to the AWP of Imi. A failed Molotov as well. We'll grant them control of mid. It's going to be 1 player towards B. That's Nilzini, has a Molotov flashbang and the M4. Weber flashed in towards A main. Imi now, can he get a third for himself?
Adel trying to play on the boost, wanted to perch himself up on the high angle, but taken down by Cryptics as it just falls into 2 men, Nilzinho and Pulse. Pulse, up close and personal, could play around that CZ, but unfortunately falls.
Once again, they're pinched in from Highway and A main. And Nilzinho just gets swarmed there towards Car. All T rounds won, first half of overtime. Match point now for Endpoint to take this 19 to 15.
That's what's scary as well, is Method right now, they have to get 3 rounds on the board.
Just to get second OT?
That's the thing, they need to force it into second overtime. If Endpoint get 1 round out of these remaining 3, they're going to pick this one up and they get that first map on the board. Cash, if they're able to win on Cash, that'd be a huge win for them and a great setup to what could potentially be a massive 2-0. And this is the thing that we spoke about behind the scenes when we were in the green room. Me and you both said it's either going to be a 2-0 or a 2-0.
As in, yeah.
Method would either win this 2-0 or Endpoint would win this 2-0. There was no middle ground.
Exactly, especially because the next map is a Mirage as well. We saw some weak play from Method on Mirage last week versus Epsilon.
Well, it seems like Mirage right now, even though it's a map they enjoy playing, is kind of their kryptonite in situations.
It's their CT side is just so awful. That's the thing though, right?
Yeah.
CT side Cash, they definitely delivered. They forced OT from 13-5 down. On Mirage though, every single week they've played Mirage. They lost versus, Excel on CT side Nuke.
Yep.
They lost versus Epsilon on CT side Mirage. The T sides are always so strong. They need to salvage or come together and have better afterplants and retakes on that counter-terror side. But anyway, it's going to be Method on the T side. They're bread and butter usually. We saw a very weak performance from them. I believe it was only, 3 rounds on the T side in regulation. Endpoint had a very commanding CT side. Can they carry it forward? It's going to be the AWP in hands of Imi. And Pulse this time wielding the AWP on that T side. It was Nilzini on the T side AWPing. But this time, Pulse has that weapon in hand. Will he get aggressive, try and find an entry for his team? Currently holding towards mid-main, seeing if anyone's pushing from that CT side towards door. If you are Method right now, you have to expect Endpoint to play aggressive on the first round of second half OT. You have 3 match points to play. Yeah. They have money in the bank, so they can take risks. That's why we see them play the default.
That's the thing as well. Method, you can see they look a lot scared in these situations. It does start to hit them. This is probably one of the most emotional teams out of everyone.
Endpoint? Yeah, of course. A lot of teams are emotional. There's a lot on the line. People quit their jobs for this team. Jesp, Pickles quit their full-time job. Cryptics as well, actually, as well.
This is the thing. I mean, this
Max dropped out of university for this team.
They've invested everything into this, so they need it to start paying off, and this would be a huge way to try and actually jumpstart that for them as well.
Chris, cross smokes come towards mid. It's looking like a B split here from Method. Match point now for Endpoint. Can they hold this one?
It's going to be a question into this round. It's so critical they hold it back. Luckily enough, Imi's there. Jess, before she gets burnt to a crisp, as he can't fall back, gets sent off to the burn toward Nilzinho. Strikes upon Cryptics as well. Imi tries to keep him at bay. Will fire for pot shot, but he realizes instantly. Fall back, go for the save. You can burn through your economy so quickly in MR6 here.
Exactly that. You can't be too overconfident as well. Yes, you have 3 match points, so you can take risks, you have the money and the rounds to play with. You definitely will have a second overtime. But they do play it smart. They're going to be saving Cryptics there towards B. Had a very quiet game. I believe the first half he only had 7 kills. Pickles had 22. But I mean, 7 kills in one half when you are playing that B-bomb site, when your team wins 12-3 as well. It was all about the A side for Pickles and the retakes from Imi. And Polestar with the up will take out Pickles and Imi from the server, leaving Max just last alive.
That's quite devastating as well. Going to lose that AWP, they're going to be forced to rebuy. We might actually see some of that damage on utility coming into effect in this round, which could stunt them.
Yeah. I think Imi will need to be dropped an AWP as well into this one. Obviously, you buy the AWP, full utility, pistol, diffuse kit, costs about 8,000, so let's take a look at the buy. Oh, actually, you see the highlight there. Imi, they're peeking. There wasn't that much time left in the bomb. He obviously thought that the CTs were going to be close and weren't holding him, but in no way yet. You can see the money on him. He does get dropped over an M4, but that means someone else's bank gets used. Someone else's credit card is...
it's been swiped.
Exactly that. So, 4 M4s right now for Endpoint. If they lose this round, we could be seeing deja vu, double overtime method, winning all 3 rounds on the T side, because if Endpoint loses one with the full buy, they'll only be on pistols, 1 M4, UMPs leading into round number 6 of OT. Once again, another default here from Method. They don't want to take any chances. They know exactly what happens if they concede one round. It will be 1-0 to Endpoint.
Oh, I mean, I thought we might have actually got caught off guard if they'd have gone for the aggressive place, and I was obviously situating themselves quite heavily towards mid. In the past, we did see him play contact on this, just towards white box, and get the early frag.
Yeah, it's always Jenko and standing towards boost. Imi now playing so aggressive. Will he overstay his welcome?
Running the risk here, could potentially overcommit to this, but let's see if that's going to be the case. Oh, the leg comes out on towards Weber, gets him low, but not quite a frag just yet.
Snick on, they might go towards this B site again. 2 players towards B main, 3 players in mid, standing towards highway as well. Might be able to find a frag towards A and cause a rotation. But it's down to Cryptics and Jess. Both of these players have had quite the quiet game. They need to step up now with the match point.
Now or never, and the things as well, it's hard for Cryptic. So many angles to focus on here, 2 different angles. He's going to be under constant paranoia that he will get pushed, and Stanley tips us into the backline. Imi's aware, but Imi couldn't quite take him down. Cryptic has to come into effect now as well. We'll get one, but there's that second angle we spoke about as Weber will strike, takes him down. Jess playing from the side, only gets 1 frag, needed to get 2 to buy his teammates actual time into this round, but unfortunately, it's not gone that way. Method looking like this could be round 17 on the board. Max finally turns up. Pulse does miss the shot. Max tries to take the aggressive play towards him, and it doesn't really go his favor. Pickles, the only one left standing. Surely you just go for the save at this point. That does actually come through. Nearly takes down Stanley. He is investing fully into this as well, but the nade will come through and blow him out the server. Frustration on Jake's face there.
Jake, he knows how detrimental that round is to their economy. Shaking his head. He knows they've let it slip twice now, from a 13-5 lead, from an 18-15 lead. Why are Endpoint constantly choking this away? First is on their T side, and now it's their CT side.
I know, mate. Absolutely horrific that it's got into this situation. You thought they would have been able to close the game out here. A flawless half on their T. But it's not gone that way. Now look at the buy they're left with as well, Stans.
The thing that's weird is the fact that on regulation, the T side was so weak and OT was so strong, and now their CT side, in overtime, is fairly awful. But anyway, 4 pistols and AWP to try and salvage a 19-17 win. Method, 4 AKs and an AWP onto Pulse. Bomb towards T-spawn. Once again, it's another default here. Imi trying to get aggressive with the only AWP in play.
Oh, takes the fight. You thought he would have actually found that frag. Could have been the difference maker, but him falling actually could spell double OT here for the side of Endpoint.
Cryptic's now been moved from that B-bomb site towards A. Can he hold off the push? Jess finds the first onto Nilzinho, puts us into a 4 versus 4.
Up close personal. Cryptics here just needs to try and stay in a close angle. That's the only place his pistol's going to be effective. Unfortunately, fights out of his comfort zone, falls down as well. Pickles just hammering back on that deagle. He's getting tags offshore, but not quite frags. They are quite low though. Stanley and Jenko left on very low HP.
Pulses the open, full HP. This is still such a hard round for Endpoint to try and clinch. Max needs to find the kill onto Jenko.
Max is the catalyst in the round, finds the headshot, grabs the AK as well. Max, usually so effective in these clutch situations, tears his way through. This could be it. They might actually stop it from going double OT. Endpoint could take the win right here, right now, as Max tears his way through them. Endpoint take the win. That's the first map going to Endpoint.
19-17. Somehow, some way, they clinched that one back. It looks like they almost choked it away twice. Whether their hands in his face, he knows exactly that should have been there. I mean, 13-5 down. You bring it back to OT. 18-15. You make it 17-18. You break their money on that last round. And Mighty Max with the Deagle delivers.
Yeah.